What is machine learning? What is machine learning? You might have seen so much hype is being produced around the world about machine learning, AI, deep learning. But what is exactly machine learning? But first, let's go with the actual definition in the books. Then we will try to simplify it a bit. So, machine learning is a field of computer science that gives the computers the ability to learn from data without being sorry without being actually programmed. This is a hi-fi definition. Let's simplify this. Imagine we run Amazon. Yes, we are its shareholder and we have a large data set with thousands of columns and millions of rows. There are so many hidden patterns in this data. Finding those patterns and using them is ML. Like, for an example, just a second, we'll import a file. Now, imagine there is this kid, right? Now, since he's just 1 or 1.5 year old, he really doesn't know how to differentiate between an apple and a banana. But as adults, what do? We do not hardcore this child that this is an apple. It appears just like this. This is a banana. It appears just like this. But what do? We just give him the apple and the banana and tell him that this is an apple. This is a banana. And eventually, by showing us many examples like this, he will finally identify this. Yes, this is an apple. And what are the patterns present in telling that this is an apple? It has somewhat circular shape. It is red in color. This is a banana. It is somewhat L shaped and it is yellow in color. Now, what is the benefit of learning like this from the data? Here, as you can see, there is a yellow color apple. Actually, there are no yellow color apples. Just for the sake of this class, I made it. Even if this apple is in yellow color, he doesn't tell it banana because the main shape of this fruit is not a banana shape, it's an apple shape. So he tells that this is an apple. This is the advantage of learning by data. And the same way, even computers learn from data. This is known as machine learning. Now, let's see what is the difference between traditional programming and machine learning. Now, in traditional programming, we give the computer rules, nothing but our program, and we also give him the data to produce an output. But in machine learning, we give him the data first and we tell him that for this corresponding data, we get this corresponding output, and we finally want the rules. Here, the end goal is not the output because already we know what is the output based on so much of historical data which we have collected over the years. We want to find the rules, the underlying patterns present in the data. This is the difference between traditional programming and machine learning. Let's address one more question. What is the difference between AI, ML, and one more fancy term, DL, which is nothing but deep learning? Now, imagine you are very, very intelligent. You are a scientist. Then you use somewhat higher math, higher, more advanced math, and you program it. Higher math and programming, we call it as deep learning. But if you don't go into that much higher math, a somewhat moderate math, somewhat normal math plus programming, we call this as ML, and the final end product which you get of deep learning, machine learning, and finally you also create a UI to use this mathematical models is called as AI. Like, if you are aware with the full stack development, then this is like a database, this is your backend, and this is your front end. Not exactly, just to give a sort of reference. This is more like research work, which consists of very difficult problem solving. This is a normal one, and this is the final place where the user gets to interact with the product you created, and you call it AI. Now, most of you might have used Chat GPT or Mid Journey. The Chat GPT you use is AI because there is a UI with which you can talk to the background models, which are nothing but mathematical models made using deep learning and machine learning. Even the image generation in Midjourney uses linear algebra, probability, which again comes under deep learning. These are AI, and their body, which creates or does the real underlying work, is deep learning. Okay. Now let's quickly see few examples where we really use them in real life. Most of you might be aware with emails, spam filters. Now, if you get an email, Google automatically decides whether this is a spam, yes or not. Here we use a machine learning concept known as classification. Classification, which again uses probability to tell whether your email is a spam or not. And next we have Netflix or YouTube recommendation system. Of course, everyone might be aware of this. Now, if this is your YouTube and you have a bunch of videos here, you will be most likely to watch the videos which you have been watching for past 1 year, 2 year, or else which are trending. These all are based on data and recommendation, which again comes under machine learning. You might be aware of self-driving cars. Tesla, yeah. Even they use deep learning concepts like image recognition to drive the car. So, finally, machine learning is making data driven decisions without coding. Yep. Thank you for watching.